Hello everyone, welcome back to the lab. Today we have a very interesting topic, a Banlist prediction and discussion video that I guess a lot of people don't even see this coming. Because Wise's Indie has just finished, and are we even in a situation that we want or we need a Banlist? Probably not. But however, I think we could and we might even get a Banlist, and we're gonna talk about it today. So, fun fact first: there has never been two YCs in the past, or at least for the past almost 10 years, I've been playing YCS. There has never been two YCs in the same area with the exact same format. There's always been some form of differences, be like a booster pack, a core booster pack, a side booster pack, a structure deck, whatever random sets, or just a Banlist happen in between YCSs that eventually made the format different. And I guess that's also a good way to for content for Konami. However, this time, is there anything different? Is there anything releasing in between the YCS? Yes. But so far from what we know, it's the Rarity Collection. The 25th Rarity Collection that is, so far from what we know, only a reprint set. Then, therefore, it has no impact to the competitive meta at all. Which would make two YCS the exact same. There are also some products releasing that could be meta impacting, but they're both from after YCS Richmond. One being Valiant Smashers, that is mid-November, which is 2 weeks after YCS Richmond. And also the Fire King Structure Deck, which is early December, way later. They both have some meta impacting cards and strategies that I'm actually particularly very interested in figuring out how they would be performing in the meta. But then, these are both from after the YCS. So looking at this whole time period of the next 2-3 weeks, we have nothing, and that will resulting YCS Indianapolis and YCS Richmond be different. And another thing, remember the last Banlist? The one that we had not too long ago during September? The one that has nearly no changes on it, be only a Rise, Hard Chaos Space, and Magma, and the other two releases that people forget already. Don't you feel like this is a very incomplete list? What if I say this could just be the first half of a big Banlist? That we just got it early. Does it suddenly make a lot of sense to everyone? That we would get the second half of this Banlist at some point soon, maybe. What will be the good time in between the two YCs that make the two YCs two different, well, maybe only slightly, but at least different formats. And that's why I'm saying this. There could be a Banlist happening. Hey, who knows? Maybe an hour after this video been posted. Maybe in the incoming week. Anytime soon, it's possible. And but before I even start talking about what specifically things I think will be on the Banlist, there are some conspiracy theories in the past that might affecting what I think will be on the Banlist. Remember the set OTS 21, the set that were released at the beginning of this year during February. The set that we had some rumors, some leaks of showing ultimate rare copies of Cash Tier Unicorn, T-Elements Rhinoheart, and Sprite Elf, right? What has ended? What has happened later after that? We got Sprite Blue and Sprite Furnier as the real OTs from this set, which is a bit strange. Because, like, I personally do believe the old OTs were actually the real ones. But turned out there wasn't. And what also happened during the same time period, there was a big ban list that banned Elf, limited every other tier cards besides Rhinoheart, and then also the ban of Kick House, as well as the ban of, the limit of all the Ishizu cards. That kind of able to, we can maybe draw a conclusion here that Konami don't want to ultimate rear anything that would or is going to get hit by the ban list. That's also why they kind of last minute, well, my guess is they last minute realizing, yeah, we need to hit Elf. We can't reprint this. We have to ultimate something else for this OTS while still making people like go to tournaments and try to get the pack. They last minute changed it from Elf to Blue and Furnier to Unicorn. As Unicorn is one of the cash tier cards they are thinking that potentially could be hitting in the future, and we saw it being semi-limited in the Banlist after. Another strange fact about this OTS pack is that that also enforced the idea the content of this thing has been changed last minute, was that there were some supers in this pack. Remember Scareclaw Kashtira, the super from this set? However, the actual copy from the core booster set was also released on the same day, having a common rare of Scareclaw Kashtira. It's really strange, even in the past, throughout the entire OTS or even Astral Pack or even Turbo Pack history, that a card was reprinted as a higher rarity in the OTS on the release date of the pack, right? I think there's also Branded Light, which is the same exact situation, a new common in Photon Hypernova that got reprinted in the same OTS on the same release date. And that can enforce the idea where the content of this OTS is probably changed last minute. And they changed the OTs into the other OTs, and then they removed some of the supers and they grabbed some of the new ones which were reserved to be like a super in the future OTS into this current one, because they kind of out of the other ones that they haven't printed yet. And Blue and Furnier were actually also strange pick for OTs, because Blue was the most expensive card in Power of the Elements, and Furnier was the most expensive card in Darkwing Blast during that time when this OTS was announced. Just straight reprinting the two most expensive cards out of like the two most recent core booster set instead of like ultimate other things. Like hypothetically, they can easily ultimate a Unicorn, a Birth, or for Spy side could be gigantic or even Jet. Then people will be still gladly getting those cards and be happy about the OTs. However, they ultimate the highest rarity, the most expensive ones, which is also strange from Konami throughout the past. And because this ultimate thing that kind of just give a lot of cards, like a guarantee won't get hit from the ban list, because in the past, I think the last time they hit anything from OTS Ultimates were Colossus, like Thunder Dragon Colossus during 2018-2019 time. And a lot of people were not happy their ultimate rare copies of the card and it was just being completely forbidden by the ban list. So the recent years, we haven't really seen any ultimate rares from OTS pack being even addressed by the ban list. I think the only few example was Fusion Destiny went to semi, but that's it. and then quickly got released back to 3 after Anaconda got banned. And that's probably the only example. The other OTs so far we saw, like Rhinoheart is limited in OCG, but this is the only tier monster now left in the deck that's like not really hit in the TCG. And so on and so far. That will also imply some of the recent OTs will probably not get hit for a while. I'm specifically talking Brand Fusion, which is in the last one, and Big Welcome of Labyrinth, which is the incoming OTs. Those two, despite I really want to limit them if I'm making a ban list, and I think those two cards are the essential problem of those decks that could be meta defining after we address the other decks. Those two cards will just not get hit because they are ultimates from OTS sets. And therefore, I guess after we had that much talk, we can finally get to what will be my predictions of this hypothetical ban list that could be incoming to change the two Vices into a different format. So first of all, the ban section. There are not many, but there are some important ones. My first pick will just be the Miller for T Elements. Kelbeck and Guido. Those two cards are literally the reason that still hang tier into the tier 1 or at least tier 1.5 in the meta. And like a lot of people, well, despite I'm a tier fan, for anyone not know, I'm a big tier fan. I think these two cards is probably at the time where they should go. We got them roughly a year ago, like last year November, and then they got limited during February. And since Cash Tier being gone in the format, these two are really showing their unfairness to whoever is playing against. And then it's probably the time for them to get banned. And also OCG recently banned it during their last October 1st list. And during the past years, we've been a little bit following OCG hits on the ban list, but OCG tier was a lot more dominating due to Chaos Ruler than currently TCG. So I think these two will be the only tier hits I put here. And then I think Tielemon Cash Tira, I'll just leave it untouched for now. Unless tier gets like broken in the future, who knows? Even without the Muir. The next ban is Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. I guess no one really surprised to see this card get banned anytime, right? This is one of the, I guess, the very few degenerate strategy that's still like left in the game, which is kind of consistent due to the new support of Crimson Dragon in Duelist Nexus. This is also like a pre-active ban where Centurion, a new strategy from Valiant Smashers releasing in mid-November, also abused this. And this is really not fun. This is like up there with what Size Lock, Rongo Lock, and just Missed in Mind kind of unfair and unfun aspect of the game. So I think let's just ban that early. Also, shout out to Triff. I played Triff at Weiss's Indie, and he was using Vanadium, a strategy that would be expected to abuse Calamity as their auto win button. However, according to Triff, Calamity isn't even the optimal way to play Vanadium. He got fourth place at the Weiss's, shout out to him. He did very well without it. So even despite Calamity is a hit to Vanadium at some level, the deck, Vanadium as a deck, is going to be completely fine to even do well in the meta. To the point which I think this card at this point is only enabling unfun and unfairness to the game and should be gone. And that will be all the bans here. The limits, Pot of Prosperity. See, this is an iffy one. I think it could be a limited or semi-limited. Being limited because I want it to be limited. This card is broken. It makes all the mid-range deck a lot better at both consistency and at digging for specific non-engine cards or side deck cards, while either going first, setting up, or going second, breaking board. And a lot of people who like really claim this card should be limited, same as how OCG and Master Duel is. However, there's also the other argument in my mind that want to put it in semi-limited, or not. Not, I shouldn't say want to put it. It just I think it would be put in semi or possible, because this is also, if we copy the OCG content, this is also a card that will be reprinted in the rarity collection as variety of different high rarities. So it's kind of not smart for Konami to like limit it early while having its reprints coming. But considering how broken the card is, how nearly like this card is, if you can play max out in every deck, that kind of thing, I think it should still go to limited for how broken it is. And next, the semi section. I will put Furnier here. Despite, yes, it is an ultimate OT, despite ultimate from OTS recently, it's a broken card. It can't, like, I think OTS OT can go semi, which is still allowing people want to get the card. But Furnier, like, in my opinion, Furnier at the current AGOT format is at its lowest, its weakest point in the entire career Furnier has been released. It's really not doing anything. Like, a lot of people asked me before Indie, when they were preparing for the format, I all told them I think Furnier is nearly the biggest bait of non-engines that anyone could be playing in their deck. In my personal tier list, I wasn't even playing Furnier. That just how weak Furnier is, like when going second as a card. But with a Banlist, with format changing, with sets releasing, because OCG has banned Furnier, so they probably gonna release new strategy ignore Furnier's potential impact to it. In TCG, I feel like we can just leave Furnier at 2, same as Mali. It's still gonna be doing the same exact thing, but you just see it less often and it has less impact to it. But despite it's currently weak, it could eventually be strong or even broken in the future. And just 3 at 2 will be fine for now and for the future. The next thing, Purely. OCG had one Sleepy and 2 Delicious, if I remember correct. And I think we could take the reverse change with 1 Delicious from 2 lists ago, and keep Sleepy semi'd. Despite semi-list usually is almost a joke that will result nearly not as much impact, or some people even claim the semi-section should not even exist besides for malicious. Hitting Sleepy to 2 is, hitting any Purely spell is a very drastic change to Purely deck, because now they cannot consistently getting Sleepy from my friend Purely. However, if you factor in both Delicious and Sleepy, they still have consistent way to get to one of the spell that can get to Noir at a total copy of 3. That's why I think putting Sleepy to 1 with Delicious at 1 will just make the deck unplayable. And that's like probably not the way I want to see, and not the way Konami want to address it, since now the Purely card has really been reprinted. I think it will be better at 2. It will definitely a lot hinder Purely's competitive ability in the incoming meta in the YCS, in the higher level tournaments. But it will still make the deck will still be okay. It will still be an option, and it will be fine. I think Purely players can adapt to it, but it's a hit that should be made. that kind of sort of address the deck since it's been around for a while. And the next ones are some like nearly combined hits. I know TCG doesn't like to do a lot of semis, but I do learn a little bit from both OCG and Master Duel that I think we can do some combined hits and semi, both of the best starters from Rescue Ace, Airlifter and Hydrant. A lot of like, yes, Emergency is probably the most broken one out of all the possible ones they have, but Emergency is a little bit too new, being a common in Duelist Nexus and then reprinted as a OTS Super with the incoming OTS 22. So I think hitting Emergency, or even let alone hitting like the Diabell Star engine, is way too soon. I mean, I agree. Wanted and Emergency will be eventually limited in, who knows, a list or two lists later in the future. But for now, those are not possible hits because Konami still wants to sell them. Therefore, the only possible hits we can have are the older cards from Amazing Defenders, Hydrant and Airlifter. Putting both of them at 2 combined with pot at 1 will definitely drastically dropping the consistency of the deck. But still, the deck will still be viable, it will still be good. It probably can still be the best deck, just like how it is now. But it'll definitely give a lot more chance for the other decks to compete. And also, fun fact, if you have less copy of Pod Lifter and Hydrant, what was the first thing to do? Get back to the consistency, which means you're gonna play more copies of Diabell Star or Snake Eye, and just increasing the amount of that engine. Which, if you just got your QC engine for Wanted, Diabell Star, and Snake Eye, maybe time to save some money for a second copy of those cards. It will also generate Konami some revenues. And I think those are kind of smart moves to do from a Konami perspective. I can see, I can see this happen. I won't be surprised. And last but not least, some of unbanned like Unicorn, Rise Heart's gone. Unicorn can come back. Ancient Fairy Dragon, and a lot of other cards. Like people already probably forgot it's even on the ban list. Was at 1, but now it can come back. Even at 1, it wasn't being played. It wasn't even doing anything when it's being summoned, and no one would even want to play, need to play 2 copy of Ancient Fury or more. And this is already looking like a solid list, but we can also spicy things up with some releasing some old bank cards like the Max. Just kidding, not Maxi, but there are some cards that could be released. First one's Invoker. Both OCG and Master Duel released this card, so we can see this coming back very easily. And it has not been done anything or even really used in OCG or Master Duel formats. So I think we will probably be fine handling this card. And Masterpiece. Could potentially be a hot take, but I think tower-like monsters such as Masterpiece nowadays isn't as impacting to the meta as much. True Draco as a whole deck is more powerful because of their floodgates instead of their actual monsters. So adding another big boss to it isn't really changing that much. And also Masterpiece, it's slow. It could be annoying, but it's really not broken compared to a lot of other things existing now. So we can have a try. Another card I want to give a mention is Magic Spectre Curing. If anyone not know, in the next core set Phantom Nightmare that's scheduled for us in February has the new Magic Spectre support cards. So even in OCG, even before their OCG ban list, there were a lot of people speculating Curing could come back or would make sense if it does come back. However, it didn't happen in their OCG October update. And I don't think we gonna get it. But more, I think OCG could potentially errata Curing in their next update, which is January? and then we might get it the errata version in our next Lisp update, which I think that will be a more possible thing to happen for Magic Spectre Kyrian as a card. Because just releasing it, it could be a little bit too strong for. But now releasing it, it's like Pendulum Strategy has been gone for years at this point. And we can definitely have something new. And so this will be my complete like Banlist prediction that could happen very, very soon. Like the earliest could happen just today or even tomorrow. And how would the format be after this if all the changes are going as hypothetical as I said? I think the format will be the same. Will be very similar. Rescue is probably still the best deck, but not by as far as it was in Indie. Unchained, despite looking like there's no Unchained hits, limiting pod changes Unchained a lot due to the fact it's a 2-card combo deck. That's also why I only really put pod there as like an Unchained hit, and not even putting any Unchained cards like or Tour Guide on the list. I think it doesn't need to be hit like that. And then Purities will still be possible to play, but a lot like less consistent due to Sleepy at 2, not consistently getting Sleepy. And Tier will be probably gone a lot lower and dropping to like low tier 2 without the millers, or discover new ways of playing, just like how OCG has been doing the past couple weeks. But the overall format will be similar, but will still be different, and it will be okay for a lot of people handling it. However, I made this. Do I really think this is gonna happen? Probably not. But I'm making this video just to make sure if it does happen, you guys will all be prepared, at least mentally, for whatever possible worst choices or worst possible scenario. And that being said, if you like this Banlist discussion prediction video, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then let me know what were your thoughts about this in the comment section. And I will be gladly responding and then providing more content. I think the next one will be some YCS indie recap from my past weekend. And I hope everyone stay tuned to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.